Hello everyone, so in this video we are going to cover the June 2026 PIB current affairs. Now first we are going to cover the weekly PIB current affairs, and then at the end of the month there will be monthly PIB current affairs compilation. The PDF of this entire compilation will be available on the Civils Academy app. The link is given in the description box. Now let's start. So first we are going to cover the PIB current affairs of first week and few important news related to Prime Minister's visit to Daman. Okay, so first have a look at this particular image. Prime Minister chairs 51st Pragati meeting at the Seva Tirth in New Delhi. Okay, now what is this Pragati? Pragati basically refers to proactive governance. So it is a platform through which Prime Minister interact with the state level authorities. That is related to e-governance. Just remember this thing. Okay, so this is kind of meeting environment. Next is related to the inauguration of hospital and airport, Namo Hospital, Namo Airport in Daman. So again, it is evident from the picture. Apart from that, recently elections were conducted in Myanmar. Please remember, Myanmar was under military and elections were organized recently, and the new president is U Minong. So he came to visit of India, so that's why it was in news. Now understand, 3 of our neighbors had elections in last few months. One is Myanmar, one is Nepal, and one is Bangladesh. Okay, now we are going to cover the PIB daily current affairs. So in first June current affairs, few important news are there. First is Prime Minister had a meeting with the Myanmar president. We have already covered it. Then India-Oman CEPA. So actually it became effective. This agreement became effective. That's why it was in news. So a very straightforward question can be asked in state PCS, that this agreement became effective on this and this date. So you need to remember the date. Apart from that, recently the PM SVANidhi scheme completed 6 years. Now understand few important things about PM SVANidhi scheme. So this is a scheme for street vendors. That's one thing, street vendors. And collateral free loans are given to street vendors as a part of this scheme. It is scheme by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So you have to keep 2 important things about this scheme. It was in news because it completed 6 years recently. It is a scheme of Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry. For whom? For street vendors. For what purpose? To provide the collateral free loan. What is collateral? Collateral basically means, let's say you need loan. So bank is going to ask for some property, so that if you do not pay on time, bank can sell that property and recover their own money. Since they are street vendors, so of course they won't have that much property. That's why bank do not prefer to give them loan. That's why the government said, okay, we are starting this scheme in which there won't be any requirement of collateral. That is the entire crux of this particular scheme. Next is related to International Day of Yoga 2026. So 21st of June is celebrated as Yoga Day, and the theme was Yoga for Healthy Aging. So you need to remember the theme, because in certain exam they ask this theme directly. Recently serious exam was conducted and they had confused a student by asking the theme of previous year. So you need to remember the theme of current year as well as just go through the theme of previous year as well. Next is related to Election Commission. So again, Election Commission notified election for the Council of State, that is Rajya Sabha, and State Legislative Council. Now why I have highlighted this? Because in exam the examiner can confuse you by saying that state elections are conducted by, or State Legislative Council elections are conducted by State Election Commission. State Election Commission is for 3rd tier. For central and state level elections we have Election Commission. Okay, next is related to Khet, Bachao, Abhiyan. So this is related to Agriculture Ministry, and it has started, and recently the Agriculture Minister launched this initiative from Raisen in Madhya Pradesh. Now what is the objective? Objective is basically to conserve the soil quality, to reduce the use of fertilizers, to reduce the water usage. In a very simple sense, to promote sustainable agriculture. That is the objective. Next is related to export of seafood. So it was in news because it maintained a new record, and we exported roughly seafood worth 73,000 crore. Again, you need not to mug up the exact number, but you need to have a fair idea about the range. Next is related to the BRICS Culture Working Group meeting. So this was organized in Varanasi. Next is related to BRO, that is Border Road Organization. So it was in news because of its 37th raising day. You need not to mug up the number, but you need to find out what is the nodal ministry for BRO, whether it is Road Transport Ministry or it is Defense Ministry. Apart from that, the 13th BRICS Urbanization Forum that will be organized in New Delhi. Now, in order to promote the research, ANRF, that is Anusandhan National Research Foundation, that has announced a fund to promote the research. So first thing first, ANRF, that is Anusandhan National Research Foundation, is democratizing the research funding. It has launched 200 crore Maha Water Mission. Two important things: what is the intention? To promote the research. And how it is going to promote the research? It is going to provide the support to the startups working in this field. And ANRF is related to which ministry? So it is related to Ministry of Science and Technology. Next is related to WPI. What is WPI? It is Wholesale Price Index. See, recently the base year of WPI has been revised, and that's why it was in news. So base year of WPI revised from 2011-12 to 2022-23. Now, it is important to note that WPI is released by, since it is under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, so remember that it is released by Ministry of Commerce and Industry. On the other hand, CPI, multiple type of CPI is there. One is CPI rural, one is CPI urban, and then we have CPI combined. The CPI combined is used by RBI as a tool to monitor the inflation, and the MPC, Monetary Policy Committee, use CPI-C as an indicator of this inflation. Next is related to the Ministry of Development of Northeast region. So recently the new mission for the promotion of silk was announced, and the name of this mission is Sneh Jori. It is for Assam Muga silk. So in a very straightforward statement, question can be asked, this mission Sneh Jori was announced. It is related to, so it is related to promotion of Muga silk in Assam. Next is related to the Chief Justice of Patna High Court. So recently President appointed new Chief Justice of Patna High Court. Justice Meenakshi Madan Rai is going to be the new CJ of Patna HC. Now, why I have included two important things. See, appointment is being done by the President. That's one thing. And this entire work is handled through the Ministry of Justice, that is Law and Justice. Next is related to the new book, and the book is When Audit Matters. So it is a book by previous CAG Vinod Rai. Now understand two important things. Why this is important? Because Vinod Rai is the same CAG who had highlighted the 2G scam, that is spectrum allocation scam. So that's why it is quite important. The name of the book is When Audit Matters. Now, CAG is a constitutional post as per the provisions of Article 148 of the Constitution. Next is related to first World Yogasan Sports Championship. So this was organized in Ahmedabad in Gujarat. Next is related to new Chief Minister of Karnataka. So Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar became the new Chief Minister of Karnataka. Next is related to Price Stabilization Fund for scheduled Indian airline towards ATF pricing. Now let me explain this one. First thing first, what is ATF? ATF is Aviation Turbine Fuel. In a simple sense, it is the fuel for the airline. Now what is happening is, because of this entire Strait of Hormuz crisis, the supply chain has been disrupted, and that's why the prices has increased significantly. Now if airline is going to get fuel at a higher price, what they are going to do? They are going to pass this burden on the consumer. So the flight ticket prices will increase tremendously. That's why government said that don't do this. This will create panic among the customers. Let's do one thing. Let's try to stabilize the price of this ATF, that is Aviation Turbine Fuel. And how we are going to do that? For that purpose, a price stabilization fund has been set up. So that is the entire issue. Now in this case, we have in last Vision IAS Monthly magazine, we have covered the sustainable aviation fuel. Answer in comment section, what is the limit, what is the target for the sustainable aviation fuel by 2030? That simply means how much will be the blending in this aviation fuel by 2030. So how much crore fund has been set up? It is 10,000 crore again, which is the nodal ministry. It is quite logical since it is related to aviation. So we have Ministry of Civil Aviation. Now you need to remember one thing, that as far as transportation sector is concerned, our governance is quite fragmented. For road, we have Road Transport Ministry. For aviation, we have Ministry of Civil Aviation. For rail, we have Ministry of Railways. And for waterways, we have Ministry of Ports and Shipping. So even though the transportation sector is one, but ministries are fragmented, and sometimes it leads to lack of coordination. And that's why the government has launched a PM Gati Shakti. And keeping this coordination problem in mind, there is one single portal for better coordination, that is ULIP, Unified Logistic Interface Platform. Next is related to flexi fuel. Flexi fuel basically means those vehicles which can operate on multiple fuels. So recently, the Road Transport Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, attended the event of launch of Hero Moto, which is going to be the first flexi fuel motorcycle. So flexi fuel basically means this will be able to operate on multiple fuels. Now understand, government is focusing on the blending. For that we have ethanol blending program, in which we are blending ethanol into the petrol. Next is related to Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Always remember, whenever you are reading news on PIB, first you need to have a look at the ministry, because in that case, the moment you understand ministry, you will be able to understand the beneficiary. Or I can say opposite also, the moment you understand the beneficiary, logically you should be able to deduce the ministry. Okay, so now in this case, what has been done? So Navachar Mantra has been announced. It is an initiative for grassroots level entrepreneurship. What is the name of ministry? That is Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Next is related to the same CEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which became effective from 1st June 2026, and it is between India and Oman. Now remember, we had another agreement, that was TEPA, and TEPA became effective from 1st of October 2025. Answer in comment section with which country or with how many countries we have signed this TEPA. Next is related to the export of first ever botanical infused millet functional food from Karnataka to New Zealand. Let me break it down completely. See, first thing first, we have exported is unique type of food from Karnataka to New Zealand. This is first of its kind. Now understand why it is first of its kind and what is so special about it. Botanical infused millet. Millet we already know. Now understand, botanical infused functional food. Functional food basically means apart from the calories, they have significant utility for the body. They are going to be very beneficial for the body, and that's why some botanical ingredients are also added into this food. Okay, so that is the purpose. Now in this case, understand one more body is there, that is APEDA, that is Agriculture and Processed Food Export Development Authority. So this is an authority to promote the export of agriculture and processed items. On similar lines, we have another body, that is MPEDA. What is MPEDA? That is Marine Products Export Development Authority. So keep it in mind that these two bodies are responsible for the export, MPEDA and APEDA. For the export of agricultural item, we have a agriculture export policy which was announced in 2018. At that time, our export was roughly $30 billion. Target was to take it to $60 billion. Right now in 2025-26, our export of agricultural item is roughly $50 billion. Import is roughly $35 billion. I'm talking about agricultural import. Now, what we import as far as agricultural items are concerned, we import two major items. One is oil seeds and a second is pulses. So this is the scenario of our agricultural trade. Next is related to the meeting of the Northeast Council. Now understand two important things. A, the Northeast Council meeting was organized in Shillong, which is the capital of Meghalaya. That's one thing. Second thing, it was chaired by the Union Home Minister. Now very straightforward question can be asked, that who is the chairperson of this council? Now we have a minister, a separate ministry for the development of Northeast region. So examiner can give you that option to confuse you. Please remember, the chairperson is Union Home Minister and the Minister for Development of Northeast region is vice chairperson. Now who attend the meeting? So it is attended by the chief ministers of Northeast states as well as the governors. Next is related to first flexi fuel passenger vehicle. Now we have covered the bike which was launched by Hero Moto. This one is by Maruti Suzuki. Again, it's a car. Flexi fuel basically means it can operate on multiple fuels or flexible fuels. Next is related to our 100th Ramsar site. So Ramsar is a place in Iran. Ramsar Convention is for the conservation and protection of the wetland sites. What is wetland? Wetland, as the name suggests, is a land which is partially submerged. That's why it is wet. Okay. Now, as far as Ramsar Convention is concerned, we have 100 sites under this convention, and the 100th site is Jayaprakash Narayan Bird Sanctuary. Now, if you have read history, basically JP played a significant role in the 1975 revolution also. Basically, that is referred as JP Revolution. So, he played a key role in the movement against Indira Gandhi. Now, understand, he is a personality, prominent personality from Bihar. So, logically, the student might think that this particular Ramsar site is going to be in Bihar, but please remember, it is in Uttar Pradesh. and it is a bird sanctuary which is situated in Uttar Pradesh. And with this, we have covered the PIB current affairs of first week of June 2026. The PIB current affairs PDF will be available on the app in the form of notes so that you can revise them quickly. Now, I would say don't go into too much detail when you are covering current affairs in the first instance. First objective is just to understand the news. Then through Vision IAS Monthly magazine, we are going to cover them in detail. And then through PD 365 and Mains 365, we are going to revise them according to prelims as well as mains of UPSC. So that is the plan. If this series is helpful for you, please let us know. Thank you, and that's all for today.